Welcome to the Bougie Black Brother Network. Good afternoon and welcome to Urban Lifestyle Cafe. I'm Michael, your bougie black brother, and I'm here with my co-host Alicia.
Hello.
And we just finished last night seeing one of the anticipated movies that I definitely wanted to see because it was done by one of my favorite writers. The movie is Molly's Game, which based on a true story, based on a book by Molly Bloom, which was really interesting when you start actually getting into it. And the director, screenplay writer is Aaron Sorkin. Really amazing writer. I know you kind of looked at a couple of things too, baby, last night after we saw the movies. After we looked at the movie. So, what background did you kind of look at after you saw the movie?
Well, I did actually did a search on the movie and gave me the history of the movie because being it was a true story.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they gave you the site gave you the picture. It's called History, Hollywood versus Hollywood, and it gave you the history of the characters. So they had the actors on one side with the actual character, actual person on the other side.
Really?
Yes. So you got an idea of what she looked like, her father looked like, and the characters that were the top characters in the movie.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So tell them what the movie's about.
Yeah, that'd probably be smart.
Yeah, do that, baby.
I always go with the quick summary synopsis. This is the true story of Molly Bloom, beautiful young Olympic class skier who ran the world's most exclusive high stakes poker game for a decade before being arrested in the middle of the night by 17 FBI wielding automatic weapons. Her players included Hollywood royalty, sports stars, business titans, and finally, unbeknownst to her, the Russian mob. Her only ally was a criminal defense lawyer, Charlie Jaffe, who learned there was much more to Molly than the tabloids led people to believe. So what made this interesting is Aaron Sorkin gives you so much fast-paced information, and he'll give you information about something right now that you're like, why is he telling you this? And then you'll see why. But it's so quickly fast-paced. And the movie opens up with her as a skier, and she's in the trials for freestyle downhill skiing
For the Olympics.
Right. And she turns around and the dialogue says, what is the worst feeling in sports? And then Aaron shows he'll like break out parts of Game 7 loss, Game 4, in what was that? Game 4 in baseball. The Venezuela and Brazilian soccer game not making the World Cup. And what we find with her is, no, it's on trial and doing a trial in the Olympics and crashing out and not making it, but injure yourself that you wouldn't be able to ski again. She said, so all of the rest of that is bullshit. And then the story begins. But it puts you to a point of, who is this strong-minded, aggressive, competitive woman? And he kind of paints a short picture of saying, everybody else does these other small things, but could you live and work through this as a world-class Olympic skier? So then it goes from there. But then it begins with them arresting her. and then they have flashbacks of everything that she went through. So as you was looking at those flashbacks, or when stepped up and started talking to her lawyer, which was Idris Elba, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so her lawyer was Idris Elba, black dude, and he was highly recommended, and blah 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 blah. So really, really interesting that he was recommended. He was recommended to her, and she walked in there and said, "I don't have any money because the FBI took everything,
Right. They took all her money.
took all her money." Then he
Yeah.
said, "What the hell are you doing here?" Then? My fee is $250,000. And she said, "I got a lot of money on the streets, so
Yeah.
I can get it to you." He said, "But who knows that?" And she was kind of like being really evasive and everything. But the dialogue between that was like really, really good. So when you seen this movie, baby, because we kind of talked a little afterwards, as you going through this movie, what was the feel that you was getting through all of this?
It was interesting to see how smart she was. She was brilliant. I
Yes.
mean, and she knew her numbers. She just knew numbers. Measure. How she was just talking about it. And then but another thing was she was not very. She wasn't knowledgeable on who she was dealing with.
No, so yeah, so that was a good point. She was just dealing with people as they showed up. She was collecting data. So they kind of showed her as she started was after she got injured, she was supposed to go back to law school because she was brilliant at that. She was a downhill skier, Olympic skier, and getting ready to go to law school.
Right.
But after the injury, she wanted to take a year off and relax. So she said, "I'm going to leave East Coast and go to California." So as she goes to California, she becomes a waitress, and then meets a guy at the bar to say, "Hey, won't you be my assistant?"
Yeah.
For
yeah.
about $450 a week
Right. Plus the $300 she was getting for what was it?
for being a waitress.
Yeah.
I mean, a bartender waitress.
Right.
So, but in between that, she finds that he organizes a $10,000 a head, game, poker game.
Right.
And he had her setting all that up. So every week she had to set that up, and when she set that up, she gets tips for that.
Right. And what was so interesting, she was learning the dialogue.
So this is, and I think Aaron Sorkin did a really good job because he directed it too. He did a real good job showing how observant she was. She listened and observed what they were saying, what it meant, and everything. And the guy who hired her, he was just used to writing things down on paper and documenting. And she was like, "I got a spreadsheet with that. Oh, you keeping all of this down?" Because he was really abusive in the way he was talking to her.
Yeah, he was, and he does everything on paper.
Yeah, and she had spreadsheets and she had analysis, and as they were talking, she was watching and seeing who was who was the main characters, who were the losers, and she was taking all that down and making her notes. And as she was sitting there listening, she was Googling stuff that she didn't know, making notes for the next time. So she knew what people wanted and what people needed and went from there.
Right.
So it was like the way he showed it, it was very detailed, but so fast paced that you missed it. You'd be like, "Oh shit, what was she doing?" And he moves on. He doesn't follow back up. He's like, "Keep up with what I'm telling you."
Yeah, he was good on doing that.
Yeah. So if you didn't keep up with it, which made it interesting all throughout the movie because it made you continue to look, because if you didn't keep up with the dialogue, some of the dialogue was important to either what happened before or what will happen.
Well, see, the thing is with her, I love the character. I love how smart she was. And she was, she wasn't, like I said, she wasn't smart in certain areas, but she knew her numbers and she knew how to make money. I think that through the whole movie, it just shows how much of a businesswoman she was. And she also learned from her mistakes. But the fact is that she wasn't smart enough to understand the people that she was dealing with.
Yeah, because she didn't realize when you're dealing with gambling, there's a corruption already in it.
Yeah, no matter what, because she was trying to say everything I'm doing is legit. Everything I'm doing legit.
Yeah.
I'm not crossing the line. I'm not doing this.
Remember, she went to a lawyer.
Yes, she did.
And the lawyer was like, yeah, everything you're doing is legal. But be careful about doing any illegal stuff.
Right.
She said, but I'm doing everything legal. I said, yeah, you are, but be careful about
it. And she didn't listen to it.
She didn't get it.
Yeah.
She didn't get that what he's telling her is you're going to lean into some illegal activity, but be careful to go back to doing something legal.
Yeah.
And she didn't realize that the mob and all of these people were involved in all of this.
Yeah.
Even though hers was so upscale, she still was on her own.
Yeah.
She didn't have anybody to back her.
Yeah.
And she was making thousands of dollars. She made, I think in 1 year when she started, was about $4 million.
Yeah.
That's what she pulled in.
Yeah, she sure did.
Yeah, and she had everyone with 1099s. So they was employees and everything.
Yeah, she thought that by doing that was going to
keep her legitimate.
Yeah, keep her legitimate, right.
But she turned around and she partnered with a couple of people. And the actor Michael Cera from Arrested Development, he played a good role in there too.
So honestly, truthfully, I'm gonna go to that point right now where here it is, where you said Michael Cera was actually in the movie. He played Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the Spider-Man boy.
Yes, he played him. And in the movie, he was Player X.
Okay.
So that was the character he played. And then the Jeremy Strong person, who was the abusive one, who was trying to get, his money, get everything money, and, was being, trying to get her to put everything on paper. It was Darren Feinstein. And he was in the movie he was Dean Keith.
Dean Keith.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and then also she dealt with a lot of other stars as well. Matt Damon. Who else? I could give you a name. Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Macaulay Culkin, Alex Rodriguez, Pete Sampras, and there was a bunch of other ones. But those are the hot names that were part of gambling that they were associated with her.
And which was crazy because in the end they wanted her to turn on all of those people. They said, hey, look, you can clear your name, get your money back.
Now the FBI was kind of the FBI was. So what happened was one of the guys just told everything, and that's the one who was kept on losing.
Yeah, so he was a
hedge fund
guy, but he created a Ponzi scheme. So as soon as he got caught in all of that, he started telling on everybody.
Yep.
And he just so happened to tell on her, and I think she paid a $500,000 fine and some other things. But the FBI kept looking at her because then they found out that the Russian mob was dealing with her, and she was dealing with a lot of them, not knowing that they were mobsters.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
She was naive to the point of, hey, look, I'm just doing my little gambling, and I'm not really dealing with any drugs or anything. The only drugs that was there was the drugs that I was taking. Not really handing out no prostitution, none of that. She tried to keep it as clean as possible. But what she didn't realize that people were watching her and saying, I can make some money off of that, because there's a portion in there that the Italians rolled up on her ass.
Yeah.
And said, we'd like to do some partnership with you. And she was like, no, thank you. She didn't realize they wasn't asking.
They were telling her.
They were telling her.
Yeah. And
they'll come in, and then one of the guys just beat the shit out of her and stole all the money and everything.
Right.
But she was so smart, but she wasn't pretty aware, because if you notice all through her life, she was alone. She had no friends.
Yeah,
she
yeah,
really didn't.
she was.
She really didn't have anybody she can consult with.
Exactly.
You know, she had a combative relationship with her father because he was a psychotherapist and always trying to psychoanalyze and drive her as a skier. And she was like, look, I'm just going to make his life miserable by just saying smart ass shit because that's who I was, which was a really good portion at the end when Kevin Costner was sitting on the bench. And he had to let her know that she was doing that because she realized that at a young age, she saw him with another woman. And when she was about 5, and he said, and you saw that. You didn't understand it, but it affected you
throughout because she didn't. She don't remember it.
No, she didn't.
But her mind,
mind got it.
Her father was a psychologist, wasn't he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, which was so interesting, he was analyzing his own children.
Yeah, and he was making like short videos of them, just interviewing them.
Yes, interviewing them. Yeah.
Yeah, each and every time, and just to see their reactions to things and see their progression and small stuff. And I was like, that's pretty crazy as a fucking parent. You know what I mean?
Yes, it is.
But it was interesting that dynamic in a relationship kind of affected her too, because in the end, he was telling her, I'm going to give you some therapy that usually takes 3 years, but I'm going to give you the answers in 3 questions.
3 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. And it was so cool because it was like another rapid fire thing. And he was like, you did this not for the money. You did this to control men with power.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you wanted to control powerful men.
Yeah.
And she said it had nothing to do with me. He said, no.
It has something to do with him.
It does something to do with she said it has nothing to do with you. He said, no, but it does. Not all of it.
Yeah.
But it does.
Yeah, because how much her father had control over her life and her career and in sport.
And the family and everything.
Yeah, and so she wanted that. Because what's so interesting about that was the fact that she called him an asshole. And I love the fact that she said, you're an asshole. And the fact that he said, well, all my children are successful. Let me tell you. And he broke it down on what they all did, including her.
Including her. He's like, yeah, I made mistakes. Of course, everyone makes mistakes. And some things that I've done that I regret. But those beyond what I've actually is successful with, I can take that over being an asshole and not being a good husband to my wife, because I have 3 highly successful children that I raised.
Right.
And I was like, I got you, because, you know, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, because
when it could have been some.
When he said that, I reflect on us and our children. Mm-hmm. You know, and I was like, no shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, they're just things that we discuss with our children, and then when he said that, it was like, that's just so profound to be him for him to say that. So, because he's like, I did my job.
Yeah.
You are successful because I was an asshole.
Yeah. Because you got tools to make you better.
Yes.
And you may not have liked how I done it, but I can say, here you are. I mean, even reflective children-wise, they could have been on drugs somewhere. Yeah. They could have been mentally fucked up somewhere that couldn't deal with people. They could have been doing a lot of things. Yeah. And I looked at that and was like, God damn. Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
I got exactly. You. I can understand that, but people don't understand it in that way.
Yeah. So Idris Elba, right? He actually there was not a black lawyer.
Really?
No. Sorkin decided just to bring it up because she has several lawyers. So he decided that he was going to kind of like break it up into different lawyers. But she did have one lawyer. Sorkin said he wanted to be able to fictionalize the characters to best serve the story and not have to worry about keeping him historically accurate. So the actual lawyer, his name is Jim Walton. Okay. No. The character Charles Basie. Oh yeah. The lawyer is Jim Walton.
Really? Okay.
No, oh, no, yeah, and I'm trying to see if that's right. Yeah, and so he's a white guy, and so she had to go through several lawyers to actually get the one she wanted. But he eliminated all that. He just got them to one lawyer doing this, and that was it. And so I thought that was really good how he did that. He didn't, he's like, let me shorten up the story. We're just gonna get to the point.
So who is Charles Jaffrey then?
Charles Chaplin is a fictional character.
That's the fictional. Oh, but the original person is who you said.
Yeah, Jim Walton.
Okay. So yeah, because they changed all the names. He kind of said that too. So the whole movie, she's narrating over the top anyway. So she's narrating all throughout the movie, and she's sitting with her lawyer, telling certain things and going from that.
Right.
Now he just happened. He played pretty good. He didn't play the dominant person that he normally did. Idris Elba.
Yeah, you're right. He did.
But he played okay. He played a questionable lawyer to say, you just think you high and mighty and all of that. But he had to slowly, like he said, read the book. After he read the book, or he had read some of the book and didn't really want to read anymore, but his daughter was so enamored by her that she read the book and she kept telling him.
Yep.
And I think his wife was telling him, no, this isn't the woman you think you hear and see. So he had to, well, he didn't have to, but he slowly began to understand who she was. And he started defending her in a different way. And, he really stood up for her in a different as the movie went by. And you understood that he started understanding her, which what I found was interesting.
Right,
she was so naive to the part, and this is what I thought too.
Yep.
Technically,
yes.
He was like, "We need to get the hard drives," and he was like, "Okay, did you destroy them?" She said, "No, I got them there. I'll bring those." He said, "Yeah, because you got all your text messages and everything." She said, "No." She said, "Have you plugged your phone into that?" Yeah. You said it downloads all of that. She said, "No, then I got to destroy it." He said, "Nope, can't do that." "Yes, I will." He said, "You just told me you cannot do that. That's an obstruction of justice and evidence and everything like that." And they went back and forth with that. But it was so interesting with the dialogue for him telling her and educating her at the same time.
Yeah.
So he educated the listener and the viewer while he was educating her. So Sorkin does a good job by teaching you things and as well as showing you it, but keep going.
And that's another thing that they wanted to give her a plea. They wanted to say, okay, listen,
just give me the hard drive.
Give us all the data, all the hard drives, and we'll give you all back your money.
And then remember what he said?
What?
He said, no, she said, so they wanted that all along. They just held my money just to get the hard drives.
Yes.
He was like, possibly.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I think you should you don't belong in jail.
Right.
You shouldn't be in jail.
That's right.
And she was like, all I got is my name.
Yeah.
I do not want this to actually happen.
And I think that, and to me is some bull. I didn't like that.
What's that?
I was kind of upset that she just said, say it was about her name. And the fact that they the ones that put her out there, all those men did not back you, because he said, where are the people who going to back you? Where are your friends at?
But to her, so I did get it. Do you think it was a kind of dumb? I get that it was dumb, but to her name meant so much because she didn't accomplish anything unless it was Molly. You know what I mean? So if she turns on all of these people, Molly would turn into a bad name.
Right.
And when she walks away, she wanted her name to be clean as possible. She didn't do anything illegal. See, even when she pleaded guilty, she didn't do anything wrong. She was just had bad associations with people who did things wrong.
Right.
That's it. Gambling is gambling. Gambling is fucking everywhere. But she wanted to keep her name like, look, if you want to take that I did some gambling things in small way, yeah, I got that. That happens. I'll pay that price. But for me to ruin other people's lives and everything under my name, no, not under my name. I won't do it. Because again, throughout the movie, you see the only thing she had was her. She didn't associate. It was nothing more of my family. You never heard. She talked about her family, but it was just about her.
Yeah, because, she got addicted to drugs. And
Because she had to stay up.
yeah, and then sleep at in the morning. But the thing also was is that, like you said, she had nobody through that whole movie. She didn't have nobody.
Nobody. She
And,
didn't even
men were in
know
love with
men,
her,
but she didn't even want to deal with
them
them.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So
So she was alone. So everything about her was her. That's why she said, I can't let my name go bad. You know what I mean?
right.
So yeah, it was very, very good movie. I think the direction could have been a little better because it wasn't a great movie. It was a very good movie, but it wasn't a great movie. So if you would have said, should this be part of the Oscars? There's a lot of other movies that I think that was a lot greater than this. But would it be eligible? Like, since it's about like 8 movies that they put in there, yeah, there's a possibility with that. He can get a possible screenplay nomination, but who knows? But a good start for Aaron Sorkin, because for those who don't know his history, he used to write for The West Wing. After that, he created a couple of other shows, The Newsroom, Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. He did all of that. He did The Social Network movie. He did Moneyball. He did A Few Good Men, The American President, and Charlie Wilson's War. So he did, and Steve Jobs. The Steve Jobs one, I loved it in a certain way, but it was a little bland because it kept it internal. It kept it like in the building, and it just focused on more of the dialogue, which was fine, but not for a theatrical movie.
Yeah. So I think he was basing this from the book.
Yeah.
But he also talked to her personally about this.
So he stuck to, this is what made it interesting. They said he actually backed away from his creative side and stuck more to the book, except for him recreating his own vision. He recreated her vision.
Right.
Normally he takes something and make it his own.
Well, he did some. He ain't did a lot.
No, but he normally says, when I take this, it's going to be my way.
Right.
He kept it as close to the book as possible. And that's what they were saying. They wondered how it would be if he took it the way he wanted.
He would have taken
that, what he normally would have.
Like the part where she got beat up. I was like, that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
But it was true. It was actually true. She really did get beat up. And so he really did a really good job with this.
He did.
He really did a job with this. Like you said, for it to be her character, she did a damn good.
So
her character was good.
Was it Jessica Chastain?
Yeah,
I think that's her name.
Hold on a second, I'll get it to you in a second. Yeah, Jessica Chastain. Yep.
Yeah. So she's amazing. I like her, and she's really conservative in a lot of things she does. I know you missed a lot of movies that she played in, but the main ones I remember her being in. She was in Interstellar, she was the young daughter that was inside the room that they came back to. Matthew McConaughey kept coming back to.
Yeah, I remember
she
that.
Was in Zero Dark 30 with getting, what's his name? Osama bin Laden. She was the investigator with that there. Miss Sloane, which was fucking almost like this. She was like amazing on that. And then she played in a whole bunch of other bullshit movies, just appearance-wise, She made appearances and all that. And I didn't even realize she was in The Help. So she was the one woman that everybody didn't like. The one...
Yes, she was, with the southern accent and had the baby. Yes, I loved her in that.
Yeah. And, she hired the black woman where everybody didn't want to hire her.
Yeah, because they both had issues.
So she's done some really great acting, and she's natural with it. Her and I forgot her name now, the one that was in Arrival.
I know I see her face.
Yeah, those two actresses I really, really love. They show up in in movies that are like pretty amazing. Amy Adams, that's her name. So she does really great movies as well. But he did really well with this. He did some great stuff in this movie. It's just that I don't think he took it to the nominated best movie
But
type.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was that kind of movie to be. I mean, because maybe it was a great story. He helped her make her money back.
Yeah.
But overall, to see it as one of those movies to get an award, maybe the acting more so than the movie.
I still think the movie could have. I don't know what he could have done. It just didn't. It didn't make me go whoa. You know what I mean? It didn't make me go whoa. Even with the acting was very good in here.
Well, you got to think about
characters.
it. In the book, I mean, she didn't even know the Russians and the Italians were even involved in her whole.
That was
scheme.
true, though.
I understand that. So how? I mean, there's certain things I could have want to figure out. How would he have made it better? Or
so that's why I'm saying I don't know.
okay.
So for me to say, look, I'm gonna let him know if he would have done this, and this. It's just I don't know what it is that would have made me say this would have made it a blockbuster. This would have made it a award nominated film. I mean, we're looking at what is it? Get Out. That's totally blow you away. It's not based on anything. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We didn't see The Post yet. That's based on true things, but you had a whole lot of major actors in there, so you're kind of
you got.
We kind of waiting to say, those are
the two best actors, and
yeah, and then the supporting actors are good actors as well. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. So I'm not going to linger on that. So what's your rating on this?
I say, I mean, it's a good movie to see because I learned a lot from it.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
So I would say 7.
7. Ugh. Damn. I think it was a little better than that, darling.
Yeah.
But that's yours. I'm not gonna doubt your what you call it from like that. I was going honestly with an 8 because it was a very good movie, but not enough to be competitive with the ones that we've seen and that we enjoyed. In our best movie lineup, I don't think I would put that in there.
No, I wouldn't have.
Honorable mention?
Yeah. Honorable mention,
possibly.
Yes.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Because I still got some honorables that I really enjoyed a little more than this. But yeah, that's why I said a good 8.
Yeah, so
and not a strong 8. It could drop within the 7s.
Yeah.
But I think it was a good movie to be kind of give it some credit.
Yeah, I kept it at 7 because you need to go see it anyway. And but I was kind of like, it's sad that how it just turned out for me. How she didn't realize who she was dealing with, and in her mind,
she was naive.
And she was all about the money for her
and
on the knowledge.
No, it was her control.
Mm-hmm.
She
was,
that's
right.
She was in control for so long, and she was, she was in control for so long. She didn't realize that sooner or later, as a woman, you're not going to be in control.
Yeah.
And as a outsider to the mob and everything else that's going on, you're not going to survive this without either dealing with them or totally getting out of it.
Especially gambling.
Yeah. Gambling, prostitution, drugs. One way or another, the mob or any type of underground illegal they're gonna get to you.
Yeah, because she said, no, we ain't do no prostitution. No, we ain't do that.
We ain't doing drugs. Nope. We didn't. I'm the one who did the drugs.
Yeah. And
so she thought she was clean. She was really that.
Like you said, she was very naive.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good movie to learn from. I mean, she was an entrepreneur.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
but she was smart as hell.
I would have. Yeah, she was. I would have been. She thought just about the gambling and nothing else.
Yeah, because she thought like if I keep everything legal. So she was conceited in a way to say I'm above and better than everybody. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to show because she took advantage of the first guy. Soon as she said, "You're an idiot and you're going to take my money away from me, I'm going to take your business away from you."
Right.
So she took it from him. She did it easily. Then the next time when she was with the player X,
Yeah, player X.
so he was telling her, "You can't tell me what to do. You know, I've been loaning people money." She said, "But that's illegal. You can't do it." She said, "You don't like what I do? That's on you." And she kind of like, "Yeah, whatever." And he looked at her like, "You don't get it.
Yeah,
They come to see me.
Exactly.
They're not here for you." She said, "First is me, then
And
it's you."
Yep. Yep.
And she brushed him off, and he saw that. He was like, "Oh, really? Okay." Then he stripped that from her, and that's when she was in California. So we didn't talk about that because she was in California for a while making good money.
And then she went to New York.
Then she went to New York and started being
and
in
New
the
York
hotels.
is one place.
The corruption lives there.
Man, New York is that's a city of corruption. that's like I just seeing her what she went through in New York. I was not surprised.
Yep.
I was not surprised.
And that's why even at the end, the judge was like, "Yeah, you pled guilty," but he pulled the FBI agents up there and was like, "You out of your mind? Of all the corruption right down the street in Wall Street, and you want to put her in jail? Nah." He was like, "I'm giving you probation,
Yep, he sure
and
did.
you pay your
Community
fine
service.
and community service and all of that."
Yep.
He was like, "They're in spitting distance of where I am." He said, "And I know because when I turn the corner, I spit at them every day." And I was like, "Damn, dude." But yeah,
that was good.
so it was really such a good movie. That's
Yeah.
why, even if it came on, anytime a Alan Sorkin movie comes on, I like to watch it because now I just want to see A Few Good Men because the basic dialogue that built up to the climactic end. I wanted to see how he led to that because
You don't
that
know
was
the
early.
truth.
Yeah,
You don't know
you
the
can't
truth.
handle.
You can't handle the truth.
And
You
it
can't
was
handle the truth.
so, but very, very good
La, la,
movie.
la, la,
Very
la.
good movie.
But the movie was good. I think that everybody, if you're interested in a movie, seeing a woman entrepreneur and see her become successful and see her fall, it's a very good movie because you learn a lot from it. You really do.
Yep, and don't forget, and Alan Sorkin is from New York City.
So he knows
He's a
the
Manhattan
corruption.
born. He's born in '61.
Damn, he older than us. Thank you, Jesus. I'm glad he older than us.
So, Urban Lifestyle Cafe, every Wednesday, we have plenty coming up, and when you wind up seeing this one, it'll be way down the line. But great movie, very good movie. Not great, but good movie. Go out and see it, or even if you don't go out and see it, it is worth, when it comes on and streaming, it is worth seeing, especially if you are a lover of good writing and good dialogue in a movie. This is something that you will enjoy, and a really strong female character. Now, I'm glad we're starting to see a lot more than that as well. Any last thoughts, Bo?
No, darling.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next Wednesday on Urban Lifestyle Cafe. Thank you.